Ba-ba-bum. Ba-ba-bum. Audio test. Start streaming now. Okay, so it's starting to stream now, and everything's going to be caught up here in a second. So guys who are joining me right now live, this is just the audio test. The show has not begun. I am just going through the audio test. Okay, you guys give me the word. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Any of those delayed? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Can you see me doing this kind of after the 1, 2, 3, or 4? You guys give me the word over here on that chat. So that would be great. We don't need fans here. It's currently 61 degrees. Oh, man, Teresa, I was just in Crater Lake. We had 32 degrees up there on the rim at times. And then we left. I drove all the way home, and by the time I hit Salt Flats, it was 90 degrees plus. So it was crazy. I hear stuff and things. Hey, Dave. Andy is... No, I don't see Andy on there. I was responding to Andy, but there's Dave. Okay, it sounds good. Maybe a little low volume, but it's in sync. It's in sync. Fantastic. So I'm turning the volume up. According to that request from Stanley, turning it up. You guys all give me the thumbs up, and we will go live momentarily. Synced Ed with your mouth. No audio on Rhonda's side, and yet everyone else says it's actually synced. Sounding good. No delay. Okay, sweet. All right, guys. I'm going to set up the last thing and go live here in a minute since I had to do a reboot. So you guys are part of the live. We're going to mess around, talk with you, but I have some changes to talk about with this presentation. So here we go. See you in a probably definite 2 minutes. 2 minutes for sure. 2 minutes for sure. Dibba-doom. Dibba-doom. Oh, the wrong thing's muted. This is the Astro Primer for July 3rd through July 10th, 2019. Hey guys, welcome into July 3rd, and let's talk about what Milky Way opportunities we have. Yesterday was the new moon, so what do we have going up this week leading into the first quarter? So let's take a look over here at photopills. Looking at photopills from the American Fork area. So looking at American Fork and North America, this is what we have this week. You're looking at a moon that has set at 10, and it's not going to come up until you actually not going to come up again. You're out of your way entirely tonight. But every night after that, we get closer and closer to the moon setting after the galactic center visibility starts. And it looks like here in North America on this latitude, it's going to be 11:03. So at 11:03, we are dealing with a Milky Way that's visible, but 11:38 moon set. And so it starts getting in your way every night. So to remind you, this week, that moon is setting later and later each night. And so it's going to take longer and longer for it to go down. The very beginning of the night is going to have the moon somewhat. And here, Friday, July 5th, the moon finally sets after the Milky Way starts becoming visible. So full darkness has happened and the moon's still just a little in your way. And that's going to continue and continue until all throughout the week, and as bad as it gets, Wednesday, July 10th, when you go out for sunset at 8:59, and then you experience the Milky Way rising at 10:59, or at least not rising, full darkness beginning, Milky Way is up, the moon is still not set. Let's find out Thursday morning what time it's going to be. 2:20. So the worst night that you're going to have this week is Wednesday night leading into Thursday morning at this latitude in North America, Europe, Asia, Japan. All of us are going to experience this, where the moon is setting 2 hours and 20 minutes, or I guess just 2 hours before the galactic center loses its visibility on it because of astro twilight starting. So let's see what happens with us down there in the southern hemisphere, the guys who really, really love their setup. So let's go ahead, instead of auto updating the position, oh, that's interesting, all through that. Let's go ahead and search. Let's do, oh, you know what, I haven't done Perth in a long time. Let's go Perth, Australia. So if you're living in Perth and looking at Australia, Perth time, let's just go ahead and keep it that time, not auto detect. Perfect. So now on their time, Perth, the moon will set at 2:52. So let's go back to tonight, the 3rd of July, down in southern hemisphere. You're experiencing what? The moon sets long before your astro twilight has ended, and so at 5:57 p.m. the moon will set, and then 6:51. Let's make sure that this time frame is good. So if I set this up, the mistake that I made in the past was when I had auto detect on or off. This is actually showing the right time zone, and so this is going to give me the time there. So this is perfect. Okay, being there winter, moon sets early, the sun sets in the afternoon time, and then it's already full darkness by 6:51 p.m. because they are starting into like the depths of their winter. And right here, 6:51 is when you start seeing the Milky Way, the moon's out of your way. It's just the following day that it finally gets a little in your way. I mean, 8 minutes or 9 plus 3, so about 12 minutes is not much. But the worst night, the Wednesday night, you go out in the southern hemisphere, say around the latitude of Perth, you're going to experience a moon set that happens after 6:54 p.m. on Thursday morning at 1:40. So after it finally sets at 1:40 a.m., you have until the Milky Way at 5:50. So you have 4 hours more and 10 minutes to capture the Milky Way before the astro twilight begins for the sunrise. So that is going to be fantastic. If you guys are in the southern hemisphere, enjoy it because you're lucky. And look at the shape of your Milky Way. It starts like this and then comes to flat. So you're sitting here, it's going down. It's in a panorama position early morning. You're going to have a great panorama early morning. Very jealous of you guys in the southern hemisphere. So Martin Anderson says, I'm going to Nora Head Lighthouse, and that between Sydney and Newcastle one Tuesday for some astrophotos. So sweet. You're going to be down there enjoying that. Are you going to get a pano? Are you going to get out there and capture that panorama in the early morning hours, or just right as soon as that moon has set, looking up high in the sky where the Milky Way will be? Because, you know, it's crazy how in the southern hemisphere, let's do this real quick just because I think it would be a blast. Let's go to the southern hemisphere. He mentioned, hey Aaron, ¿cómo estáis? ¿Cómo estáis, Sid Lathia? Hey, va bene, molto bene, sì, grazie. So, Perth, say you go out into, hey, he said Northam, Nora Head. No, he didn't say Nora Head. Newcastle and Sydney, that's on the other side of Australia. But let's pretend like he was going to Northam and put my pin down there. Look at the Milky Way as it shapes itself across the sky. So you're looking at, here we go, at right now time, Thursday, scrolling over, going through the day, and then coming down flat. See this graphic right here? That helps you with a little bit more of the shape of the Milky Way. So the early morning hour, you're looking to the southwest, and you're seeing this panorama that has now gone from being completely vertical in the sky. Look at the middle white line. The middle white line is the core. Oh, you're not seeing anything. The middle white line is the core, guys. This is the core straight above your head. None of us in the Northern Hemisphere even know what this looks like unless you've been down there. So you watch as the core travels from the east side over to the north above your head and then to the west and sets finally in the southwest. And when it gets around here, you've got a panorama that's going the opposite direction than we're familiar with. And how cool would that be? It looks like Martin Anderson is going to experience it. So awesome. Very jealous of you guys, but this is a great week to get out there fast because you could possibly get a wide enough angle panorama and make it work, but it is tight and it is high very, very quick. That was the Astro Primer for July 3rd through July 10th, 2019. It's Milky Way Wednesday. Hey guys, it's Wednesday and it's time to talk and hang out with a bunch of Milky Way nerds. Martin over there says, you know what, over there, let's just show the cam chat. Martin is saying that Nora heads south of Sydney to get away from the light pollution, so he's going this Tuesday. So he's going to head out all the way over there to Sydney side and get away from it. Let me just show you on the IMAX screen. So guys, we have some announcements for some small changes, very small changes to Milky Way Wednesday going forward that I think is going to be great for everyone. It's going to make it great for you guys who are here, and it's going to make it great for those who aren't here who are watching this replay. This replay that you guys are seeing right now, unless you go further back than I have adjusted it for, this will be the last replay that you will see with everything on it. From, oh no, the tech had problems. Oh no, my mouth is out of sync with the audio. Or, oh no, Aaron King isn't there. Where the heck is he? Isn't it 7:01? All of those moments will be in the past. And for those of you adventurers who join me live, you're going to actually see all of that action and get out and enjoy it. So he's going south of Sydney, and he's going to get away from that light pollution of Sydney, somewhere right around here, I imagine. And then, man, that Milky Way is going to be great looking out over the Tasmanian, I want to say peninsula. It's not peninsula, it's an island. The Tasmanian island. Now, obviously, he won't see it from here, but just the view of how all the stuff down here that aren't really blowing up the sky for him. So he's going to have a nice dark sky. I'd have to check light pollution map. So, oops, north of Sid, Martin says. He's actually going to go just north. Hey, it's Newcastle right there, of course. I should have seen that. So he's going up there. So, guys, let's talk about the changes. Let's talk quickly about what I'm going to change. So, if you watch a replay in the future, you're going to see a highlight reel of Milky Way Wednesday, which is actually fantastic because if I have a teaching lesson like last week that gets a little derailed because Aaron King just wants to draw a complicated subject on there. Now, Veronica, absolutely not your fault. You sent me a message. I really appreciate it. No, you didn't derail me. It was my enthusiasm for drawing and thinking, the concept of parallaxing, instead of just describing it like this, I was going to draw it. I don't know what I was thinking, but I went for it. So those of you who watch a replay in the future, you won't see the struggles and in between. You're going to get a nice highlight cut, click, 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 click. And if it's 10 minutes of lesson, if it's 30 minutes of lesson, I'm going to capture everything that's important to try and keep it nice and short. I'm hoping 20 minutes or less. And that way, those who watch a replay can capture all the good stuff without having to see the Milky Way Wednesday's about to begin opener, without seeing the, hey guys, welcome up, how's my audio? So going forward live, I don't have that kind of pressure of making sure that every minute from the beginning to the end doesn't address you guys who are over here talking to me right in that chat. And so this offers me the opportunity to address those of you who are willing to join me live. And you know what? The day before the 4th of July, we're on vacation, many are traveling, and yet still there's 24 of you who have joined me right now. So that is awesome, just awesome to have you guys with me. And from the 24 to 60 that we get every week, I want you guys to have more of an opportunity with me than those who are watching the replay. So if you come live, you get all of it. But those who watch the replay don't have to go through kind of the B-roll of not as great of a moment as the rest of Milky Way Wednesday. So again, future Milky Way Wednesdays. If you watch them live, you see a live presentation from beginning to end. However long it goes, I'm shooting for 30 minutes or less. Obviously, I'm terrible at that because some things are so fun that I teach for a full hour. Now, those of you who watch the replay, you'll only see a highlight of the lesson and the course that was involved in that, and maybe some highlights from the interactions during the live, but for the most part, nothing of just, hey, so Sid says, how's it going? Hey, como stai? Va bene? I see. You're not going to see or hear that stuff. And Phil Sisto says, I think that's a positive change, man. And I agree, man. Thanks a lot. Good looks. I have good looks, or someone else has good looks, or you're just saying that's a good plan and outlook. But yeah, I'm excited for that because that's going to mean that YouTube is going to get a pre-recorded video that shows the highlight of the lesson. That's 5 to 15, 20 minutes long at most. That's going to be a much better thing for YouTube to submit and spread around. But the live video that gets only hundreds of views is going to stick around to something for the live moment and then gone. It'll be gone. You can't rewatch the live moment. I will turn it off and then keep only the replay highlight from that point on. So right now, this won't be in the replay highlight. This is me just telling you guys the changes, and included in that is Astro Primer. Astro Primer is very local to the moment I'm talking about it. Rewatching it in a week, let alone 3 months from now, will not benefit anyone unless you watch it exactly a year later, and then basically the same Milky Way rules apply. So Astro Primer will be a feature for the live, but not for the replay. So there we go. And clearly you don't speak jive. No, I don't. Jive talking duo. What were they saying in that airplane movie? Shit. And it's like, golly. All right, so let's get into this week's presentation. I have a very fun experience to share with you guys from our Bandon Milky Way shots and our natural bridges over in Samuel H. Boardman, and basically take you guys through some of the pointers of how it went, how you can do it yourself, and even talk about the hike and show you a cool feature from my My Tracks app. I'll show you guys it here in a minute. So let's get rolling and start off with this preview of the next Milky Way adventure, Milky Way Wednesday on the Road adventure video. This is just the first 3 minutes of it, because I only finished 3 minutes of it so far, that you guys are going to join watching right now.
Christening the vehicle, the rental vehicle, with the Photog Adventures logo.
Okay, now that I started that, because I am not hearing it myself, I want to make sure that you guys are. Currently, the way that my audio is working, it has turned itself off, and I can't hear my computer. I just need to fix that and resolve that. But let me know in the chat if you are actually hearing the video that I played, because if you're not, I need to fix that. So just give me a second to let you guys reply and let me know if you could hear the audio in that video, and if you could, sweet. Otherwise, let me go ahead and see what I can do to get this to play audio again. Okay, when I plug this in, don't turn off computer, okay? And the comments are coming in. All right, there we go. I can probably hear it if I play it. Yep, it sounded great. Heard it good. Okay, let's get back to the video. Enjoy.
Christening the vehicle, the rental vehicle, with the Photog Adventures logo. Let's go. Let's do it. Let's do it.
Check out that green light from Kathy working with her Star Trek. Mine and Kirk's home away from home. Kirk's right there, and it did not work out great at Baker City. It was so hard to find all of the nice spots that I could see. I could see water here. I can go down this way. Getting closer to the hills made it so that the Milky Way was more blocked. So I had to get back into that spot. Dealing with dogs, dealing with the private areas, private property, don't trespass. Didn't go well, didn't go great. Last night though, check out some of these time lapses of our work down in Bandon. So here in Bandon, we have an opportunity down at these rocks. Now I learned that this rock in the time lapse is actually the wizard hat. And the one on the left is a guardian of the wizard. So that's really cool naming. Where we captured our sunset, like in this shot, you can see this is what we've been calling wizard's hat, but it's actually the howling dog. So the howling dog, and you can see this in this frame right here, it's really obviously a howling dog. In fact, there's a dog. There's Kathy and her dogs. Did you like your shot of the lighthouse?
What?
Did you like your shot of the lighthouse?
Yes.
Kathy is featured regularly on Milky Way Wednesday as a commenter, but now you actually get to hear her voice and see her face. It's Kathy Hennehan on Milky Way Wednesday.
And Diablo.
And Diablo. Hi, Diablo.
If you would have bit your hand, it would have been.
I would have been shocked because he's so nice about everything else. How was your shot last night?
Loved it. Can't
Loved
wait
it?
to actually see it on a computer and edit it.
Now, do you think you enjoyed the sunset shots much, or just maybe the Milky Way shot at night?
Oh
Both
God,
are
I
pretty
love them
great,
both. I love
right?
them both. I love them both. I don't even know how many pictures I took. I took way too many pictures.
So, mic is on. I got a word from Stanley Harper before this began that maybe my mic audio is off again. Let me know if it is. It seems like this far into Milky Way Wednesday, it seems to lose track, and I change it from 1800 millisecond delay to a 2400 millisecond delay, or vice versa. So, give me... I didn't realize Mocha was right next to you there. Oh, yeah, she didn't seem to mind, Kathy. She didn't seem to mind at all. So, let me know if this is actually off, and we will fix that sync real quick. Potentially fix it, because as we all know, oh man, it just does not cooperate sometimes. And give me the word over there. Yep, it's off, Stanley says. Okay, so let's go ahead real quick, and I'm going to change this. Advanced audio properties, Elgato 2400. Okay, now let me know if this is working. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I didn't do anything real. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's how you do it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Should be working. Hopefully you guys will let me know if that's actually true. And let's see, slightly out of sync. It's off. Yep, it's off. Yep, it's off. Okay, so that was before. Let's see if it shows you this time. I'm opening up right now the premiere of that video because Stanley mentioned, man, that time lapse, love it. And I want to show you guys up close the time lapse and see the action that's happening by the group out there at Bandon. And then we're going to talk about this area and teach about the location of where, yep, it's on. Sweet. Okay, so let's go ahead and switch over to my iMac screen. So I'm loading up Premiere, and it's somewhere. Oh, here we go. Milky Way Adventure templates. So it's loading up right now, and what's going to be showing is the actual screen of the edit that I do. And you can see how simple it is, as well as we can go right into the time lapse and pop it up nice. So here we go, time lapse. So I really love turning on a time lapse in a workshop. And so while people are out there capturing their shot and I'm at each camera, checking on your shot, checking on yours, how you working, how's it going? Have you gotten your focus? Have you gotten everything exposed for correctly? Well, I jump around from Kaveh and Kathy and Kirk. Well, actually, I didn't really help Kirk at all. Kirk was there helping me. So John Henry Maurice was there, Kaveh Naderi, Kathy Henahan. Those were the 3 participants of the workshop, while Kirk was helping me lead the workshop out there on the Oregon coast. So let's look at this time lapse up close. So I'm going to slide this, but I want to give more screen space for the actual video. So we'll see it like this. So as this time lapse is going by, as you can see, you know what? This is still really tiny. Come on, go big. Go big. There we go. As you can see, sometimes the clouds, actually all the times in a time lapse, the clouds end up helping you and giving you interest. And then look at the white light of Jupiter going through there, and it looks almost like a spotlight coming through as the clouds go over that Jupiter blast as it's finishing up after opposition this summer, and then people going back and forth. And I love this one. Someone moved so quickly with the headlamp on or with something on the back of their screen on that I drew a picture in those 8 seconds. Good evening, sir, Andrew Buren. Good evening. Good evening. So as you're looking through here, we have Kathy turning around and going towards this direction. Why? She's shooting for Polaris, and she's trying to get the North Star lined up, and she's switching a laser on through the viewfinder of her polar alignment setup. So it's making sure that it goes right to north, and you'd see it right there. You'd see it right underneath north. It was really quite cool. Is it in this picture setup that I have over here? Let's see. Oh, I don't have it actually exported. But there was a picture that she has of just me shooting the other direction and seeing where she's pointing, and you see the laser pointer going right towards it. And I can find it here during one of the other clips. So check it out. Working on that. And then another blasted beam. And then she turns back around. She has alignment, and she starts capturing. And as she's capturing everyone else, but notice this challenge. Amen, Philip. Philip Sisto, Philip, I don't call him Philip ever. Phil Sisto says, the reflections on the sand are on fire. They're just awesome. Just so cool seeing the reflections. You notice right away, the reflections cause this diffraction in the water as you see all the little ripples, plus every star has its color popping on that reflection. You see Antares is orange. You see the bluish white of these other stars. The reds aren't showing up as much as around Antares and the Rho Ophiuchi. You know there's this pink star and a really red star in there. But looking at all these cool copper, white, and blue colors that come out thanks to the reflection. Oh, I just love it. Well, watch the terrain and watch as people are standing out there and working. This right here, what's the change? That is a very much aggressive wave out of every 12. You know, we're at a point where it's low tide and it's coming back in, and it is lapping at our feet. And lapping at our feet means we should have worn our NRS boundary socks that night, but we were saving them for Thor's Well, and we typically don't need to get in the water in Bandon. But at this time of year, with the way that we went so early because the moon was going to rise and get in the way, we couldn't wait for the Milky Way to get vertical behind these sea stacks, and so we ended up capturing earlier in the night, which forced us to go a little bit around the corner. So let me show you what that means using Google Earth. So let's zoom in on Google Earth and go to Bandon. Bum, bum, bum. Here's Coos Bay, so I got to go down. There's Bandon. Let's go to the beach, Face Rock Viewpoint, State Park. And from here, after having parked and gone down, so here's the parking point, and then you hike down, you walk out here. And at this cliff face, you can see this cliff face right here, that's where I put my light. And then these sea stacks right here are the two that we're featuring. You can even see whose ever image this is. There it is, the wizard's hat and this cool guardian of the wizard. All of these sea stacks are considered the guardians of the wizard, while the other one is the wizard. Now, I think if I'm correct that maybe wizard's hat is this one right here, and you can see how this section is all underwater. We were out here standing this way to see them in between. Let me show you, and it's going to be a better picture from this pano. You can see how there's the light over at the cliff. Here's where John Henry Maurice is working. You see these small rocks, and then you see that rock and this. That's the dead giveaway that this is Wizard's hat right here. And this is the guardian of the wizard, or one of the guardians of the wizard, because these two small rocks are right there. So you can see how our position way over here, like Kirk is in his NRS boundary socks, and he's way over here on this side. And we're looking through the gap to match up the Milky Way core, and we had to get in the water a whole lot more. So when you go out to Bandon for Milky Way photography, think water socks, anything. As this time of night, it's not going to go up and over shoes. So if you have those long mudding shoes that you can go out and prevent the water from going up and then soaking inside, you're usually fine with those. But I recommend NRS boundary socks that cinch off at your calf, and so you don't get wet at all. And this just is easy going, light waves. They're just ankle high, maybe a little above the ankle sometimes, but nothing too crazy, shooting through these sea stacks, and it was just fantastic. So you heard me mention that this is Wizard's hat, not the one over here that we've been fond of calling Wizard's hat. And the reason why it's so easy to call that Wizard's hat is because of Harry Potter. Harry Potter sorting hat. As it sits there kind of crumpled in all the right ways, and you look at images, you see these crumplings, and you think of that when you see the other sea stack. So checking out this sea stack from our images. Let's go to our images again. And let's go to the sunset ones. Looks like I need to go left, go down, and that's the video and the sunset. Okay. This looks like the crumpling of a wizard hat and just having sort of that sorting hat texture. And yet it's called Howling Dog. And from this perspective, in Kirk's image right here, you can really see a howling dog lifting his head back, his mouth up at the top, and a bird standing on his lips as he's howling. Howling Dog. So if you're ever in, let's go to Google Earth. If you're ever in Bandon and you go out on the beach from Lord Bennett's right here and walk down this path, you're going to be at the Howling Dog and Face Rock over here. This is Face Rock. It looks like a face as someone's laying down. I think one of Kirk's images shows the Face Rock in it. So let me just go to the actual folder. It's a lot easier. And it shows right here. Close that, please. And there we go. See the face right here? It's as if the head is resting in the water, and the nose and the lip and the chin are right here. So this is the Face Rock viewpoint, and the face is looking out. And if you were to look further, you can see the toes of the body as it peeks out. So this is called Manatee Rock, and has an awesome face on it. I love the eye and the mouth right here. And then Kirk got the face and this face all in one shot. Really cool shot. And then he settled this on getting the Manatee Rock from the other perspective and captured the Howling Dog from there. So in Bandon, you'll know that the names of the rocks are Face Rock, sorting hat, Howling Dog, and then over here, this smaller one is Wizard's hat. This is Guardian of the Wizard. These are all the guardians of the wizard right here. And and Manatee Rock. Manatee Rock is normally in sand, and in this picture I think it is this maybe Manatee Rock, or that little shape right there maybe Manatee Rock. It's very close, but typically, except for in June, it has a sandbar on top of it and you can't quite capture it. So that was Bandon, and it was fantastic to capture the Milky Way there. Let me go back and show you those images of our preparation so you can see how we set it up. So light far, far over here, as far as you can go. The way this cliff face ends up being, we can't get any light on these. This is not light pollution from here, is not lighting these. If anything, maybe the backside of those. So this is all in shadow. So we turn on this light to bring face, like a little bit of light to the face of the rock right here and right here. Ideally, we'd want to go on the other side, but we'd have to put the light somewhere out here in the water, and that's just not going to work. And Kathy points out that the two big ones are the sisters. She remembers what Stephen Michael was telling us about that area, and he taught us. He was the one who taught us there that night. So if you're out on Face Rock Viewpoint and you go and do Milky Way photography right here, the Guardian and the Wizard's hat are fantastic. You've seen it in a ton of my work. Having a lot of fun working with a shot as the Milky Way comes reeking right out of it, right out of the middle right there. It's cool, like a gaping maw that is opening up to the Milky Way coming off of that. And here's one of my shots without anyone in it, where it's got the reflected Jupiter right in the center and Terry's right over the wizard's hat and the reflection as well. Just really loved it. But that's enough of the awesome Manatee Rock and Howling Dog and the two sisters. These two big ones right here, I believe, is what she's referring to, by the way. Let's talk about natural bridges. And that comes from this picture right here. Ba-bam. Natural bridge. That is this. And over here, if you go down the hiking trail and come onto this point, you come to a really cool spot. So let me show you. Here's the course of the week for this week. It's My Tracks. Using an app like Gaia GPS or My Tracks, all of these are fantastic. On my phone, you're not going to see it very well, but you're going to see a purple icon there at the bottom in fuzz. I don't think I can get it in focus because this is on macro, but you see the purple square? That's My Tracks. I can show you guys this in another one, but I believe we've mentioned it so many places you probably have no trouble finding it. But the purple world icon leads you to an app that will track you. Even if you don't have signal but you have GPS, it tracks your pathway. Well, one really neat feature of it, as you can see here in my email, my email to myself, I sent the KML file of this. And so I'm going to open this. Well, actually, I'm going to download it. And then I'm going to open this guy with Google Earth. And Google Earth Pro is not authorized for my Mac. Okay, that's fine. I don't know why it would say that since Google Earth is being used right now. So I've opened up the KML file, and Google Earth is immediately loading it and putting that map track from the parking lot to this spot. So can anyone recognize what happened here? If you're saying in your head, it looks like someone from Photog Adventures was leading them, then you had the right answer. So we left and we started going this way, and I'm like, no, that's not it. So we went over here, and I said, this just can't be it. I know it was on this side. And even just last November, I was there, but disoriented, not going the right direction. Finally came out to this point and realized, oh, here's the path. But from this point to this point, it just could not get signal. It recognized me over here. It recognized me up to this point, and then just stopped and didn't have any reading until I got to this point in the hike. But you can see how the hike goes. And even with the exaggeration on, I think you should mention this in your head that, okay, that's exaggeration on the slope, but Kathy can vouch for it. It's not Bigfoot, Stanley says. That's not what happened. It wasn't Bigfoot, and we ran as fast as we could from here to there. It just, I went the wrong direction. So this slope right here is so steep, even though it looks like it's extra with the exaggeration that I have on Google Earth, it's still that steep. Kathy can vouch for it. It's crazy steep. You spend the entire time working your way down from even this point to here, wondering if you're going to roll an ankle, break a leg, and I'm realizing during this hike, I should not have brought these guys here. This was a lot harder than I remember. Doing it in the daylight and doing it as I brag, since I don't have much to brag about, my 37-year-old body, it wasn't that hard. But as I brought people who were older than 37-year-old and weren't as limber and agile and excited about going down basically a slope of death, it was a tough hike. And so we probably won't go out there with the workshop ever again. But you can see how we work our way path, and then this is because of the terrain is not accurate. This is not a drop down. You still stay up on the higher part. Where's that image? That image is right here. So let's look at this image again. See that slope going all through the trees? You go under branches. You go around trees on a cliff edge slope. And so it's very precarious, but also easy. Oh, whoops, don't go so far. It's very easy, very possible. And what's going to happen in that Milky Way Wednesday adventure is that you're going to see more from this, at least a time lapse from it. But check it out from Aaron King on this video as we talk about where we're at in the very beginning of it. I'm getting worked up. Moistening my mouth, ready for talk.
So here we are, guys, down in Natural Bridges. There's Kathy. You see the back of her head working on her first shot, seeing how it turns out. What do you think, Kathy? You feel secure on your feet?
I do.
Let me turn this brightness up on the light. Go up a lot more so you guys can see where Kathy's standing.
Right on the edge.
Securely there.
Yeah.
Kaveh is right there.
Hopefully you guys are
Kaveh's
hearing
more
me
on
talk.
The ledge out here that you guys can see in this video, that we are
There's
just
Kaveh.
surviving on the edge of this natural.
So on this area, you're on the edge of this very safe flat platform, but very sharp rocks, as you can expect. Just the kind of rocks you'd expect on the edge of a sea stack. And so standing out here on those sharp rocks, we look down this gauntlet back and forth, and it's not as open as this makes it seem. It's very narrow and looks awesome. And I'm gonna be sharing images and time lapse from it in the future edit of the video. But I think I can show you guys the time lapse now. I don't believe I have it imported yet. So here's just a quick behind the scenes of easy imports of time lapses. Let's go over here to my folder. It's going to be on Indoor CPs and Photog Adventures Offload, Milky Way Wednesday, Part 3. There should be a time lapse folder. It must have been in the previous one because I saw time lapses, pictures, and Oregon Crater Lake Workshop, and a time lapse folder somewhere in here. Maybe it's not up. Maybe I didn't throw it over on this computer because I didn't want to take that time. Let's see if it's in the Dropbox. Aaron King Dropbox, pictures, and Milky Way 2 time lapses, natural bridges. Awesome. So here we go. I'm going to import this sequence of images by simply going to the very first one of it. Click the options, make sure I have image sequence chosen, and I'm importing it into Adobe Premiere. With Adobe Premiere imported, this is actually my first time seeing this time lapse and seeing how it went. Let's watch it together. And this is full speed. So you can see how that gap looks, and you can see how well this turns out as it looks all the way through here in my edit. And you can see how the clouds were not being friendly. But as time passes, as Jupiter behind those clouds is moving, the Milky Way is coming into position. And we're waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting, and finally it opens up. Oh, it finally opens up. But the rotten Milky Way has moved out of position from being right in the gap like we wanted. Just right here would have been brilliant, but there it is. It ended up off the frame, but it still looks awesome. We got most of the cord not blocked by a tree going right down this really cool gauntlet. That's the Natural Bridges Milky Way. It's just fantastic out here. Just stinking love it. I'm going to leave it up for a second while I talk about the rest here. So if you're thinking, I want to go out there, I want to do the Natural Bridges hike, you won't be doing it with a workshop. I'm guaranteeing, unless we have a group of people who are billy goats compared to me, we're not going to make that risk, because who knows what can happen hiking down onto that position in the dark. We made it. John, Kathy, Kaveh, myself, and Kirk, we made it. But with the clouds in the sky, there were some thoughts in people's minds that they told me about afterwards, going, oh my gosh, I can't believe we're doing this. This is going to be for nothing. This is going to be a waste of my time. Yuck, I can't believe we're doing this. And yet, the stars came out. The clouds passed. Let me show you that again. I'm going to rewind it and hit play. This is about patience. If you're a Milky Way photographer and you don't know patience, then you're going to learn it very fast. As Milky Way photography is much about staking out a location as it is patience, just waiting for that moment, waiting for the time for the clouds to cooperate, waiting for the time of the Milky Way where it gets in the location that you want it to be, on top or over that subject, that really cool thing you've always wanted it up and over and around. So that, oh, what a fantastic sight. How fantastic it is when you've got light pollution really blowing up on the clouds and making it even that much harder to see through, to have the clouds finally move. And you start seeing a few clouds. Oh my gosh, look at that, look at that. Ooh, look at that, look at that. Oh, oh, oh. It was awesome. It really, really, really was fantastic. Just loved our experience out there. Couldn't believe how fortunate we were with clouds opening up in Bandon for at least that hour. With clouds opening up for 50 minutes, maybe only a half an hour. Kathy would have to remind me if it was that long that we actually had our opportunity to see the Milky Way over there in Natural Bridges and Samuel H. Boardman. So it's just, we got such great luck being out there. So stoked, so happy. So guys, it's July 3rd. Enjoy your 4th of July if you are from the United States and you celebrate the independence of the United States of America. If you're not from here and it's just enjoying the summer, awesome. If you're in Australia and you're going out to see a Milky Way tomorrow night and you're going to capture it north of Sydney, then enjoy your winter drive and experience out there. I'm jealous. I can't wait until I can capture that Milky Way too. Next week, what are we going to capture? Well, this image that I have where I captured a sky on one setting and the foreground on a long exposure other setting, I have this exact same method applied for Crater Lake, where I did it in blue hour, I did it with nighttime with long exposure, and I even tried capturing it with a different focus. So during the blue hour shot, I focused for the terrain and captured it, and then I used the, ISO and f-stop that I would for that scene. Then I waited until full darkness. I just kept the focus as it was. I changed my f-stop to 2.8 wide. I changed my ISO up to 8,000, and I shot for 8 seconds. Well, I guess I didn't shoot for 8 seconds, but I had all the other settings that I do for my foreground. I also white balance the same as my night sky would be. So my sky picture, all of those came together with 3 tests of capturing the Crater Lake rim, and it's going to be fantastic to share with you guys in Milky Way Wednesday next week. Now, one thing I've got to say is that next week I will not be live. I will not be in country. I will be out with my parents and my siblings enjoying a week of Italy. It's going to be fantastic. My family used to live there, and I was the oldest, so I've been through 4 years of that, but my youngest siblings had never even been there, and the other ones were so young when we were there, they barely kind of remember it. And yet Italia is such a big part of our life, and so we're getting out there for a week. It's going to be awesome and very hot, apparently. And so I'll be gone, but Milky Way Wednesday will be a pre-recorded version next Wednesday and the following Wednesday. So part 3 of the Milky Way Adventure and part 2 of the Milky Way Adventure on the road will come out in those times. Part 2 will come out right away, but then part 3 will come out with next week's video, as well as a video after that that will be a pre-recorded video that you guys will have to watch. So thanks so much for joining me for Milky Way Wednesday. Thank you so much for seeing everything here and responding. And if you have any questions, I remind you to go to milkywaywednesday@gmail.com. Have any questions you've always wanted to ask me or ask anyone else, and I'll get the answer for you. milkywaywednesday@gmail.com, and I'll answer those questions here in an email segment on the show. So thanks for hanging out with me, guys. Rhonda, man, Kathy and I kept talking about our Faroe Islands trip to hang out with you, and we are stoked. I mean, just stoked to be out in Faroe Islands soon. So we got 2 months and a few weeks, maybe 1, that we have to wait before we're out there in Faroe Islands with you and Kathy. So Rhonda, I can't wait for that. Can't wait. Thanks, Phil. I will definitely be safe out there and just can't wait. Oh, man, just drinking Kinoto and enjoying that every day. Oh, man, I'm going to live off of Kinoto. What a wonderful soda that only I love. Not even all the Italians love it as much as I do. So I'm excited. So thank you guys for watching. I'm Aaron King with Photog Adventures. I'm here every Wednesday night at 7 p.m. If you're watching the replay and you just saw that, thank you so much for coming on and watching the highlight replay of Milky Way Wednesday. Join us Wednesday live at 7 p.m. Mountain Time. It's not sharp, not 7 p.m. sharp. It hasn't been yet. But if you join me then, we're going to hang out and talk with other Milky Way photographers and have a blast. So see you guys. Have a great one. And I will see you in 3 weeks live on somewhere in July. So not July 10th, but not July 17th. July 24th. I'll be back live on July 24th. So see you guys. Have a good one. Oh, and there's my name. Aaron King with Photog Adventures. Signing